Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a war film, entitled Broj 55. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a flash forward showing Croatian soldier Tomo being barely alive after a heavy battle against the enemies for 24 hours. His comrades have been killed after long hours of combat. The house is raided by the enemies not long after, and all the survivors are killed. In the present, Tomo drives a truck that is full of 20 mostly inexperienced soldiers from Bjelovar. Sitting in the passenger seat is his fellow soldier, Crni. Their assignment is to strengthen the Croatian army to turn the situation around and be on the offensive instead of backing down and defending. Pero asks if the soldiers are from Bjelovar, a city in central Croatia. Miro confirms that they are and introduces Company A to the team. Miro also reminds Pero that not all of them are armed. Tomo takes an interest in their makeshift armored vehicle. He finds the design funny but chooses not to speak about it. They are told that the commander wants to speak with them. Before they leave, other soldiers, Bozo and Marco, arrive. Together, they all then proceed to see the commander get their final instruction. The commander mentions the rebels living in the area that they are aiming to take control of. Marco points out as well that the Serbians have spies everywhere. Miro suggests that they send a recon. A recon team headed by Miro proceeds to scout the area frequented by the Serbs. They use a trench, waiting for the enemies to come their way. A soldier then reports to the base that an infantry from Kalvarija, a city in southwestern Lithuania, is in the area. Gunshots ensue as the enemies spot them. While Bozo and Tomo are taking cover, they hear a loud explosion followed by a loud scream. One of the Croatian soldiers is badly injured. Bozo requests 2 men to rescue the wounded soldier. Kruno suggests that he'll take the armored truck. Bozo is not certain if that's a good idea, but Kruno still wants to give it a shot. Miro goes with Kruno. Bozo uses a rain poncho to drag the wounded soldier. They then back down to take the soldier to the armored truck. As the armored truck is leaving the battlefield, Bozo and Tomo stay outside to safeguard the vehicle. The team is able to survive. As the truck reaches the base, the wounded soldier is then transferred to another vehicle and taken to the hospital. Kruno gets a tap on the back as his truck was a major factor in that reconnaissance that turned into a rescue operation. Miro is commended by the commander for a job well done. He is then taken to the radio room as the commander shares that there are times when they break into the line of the enemies. Just now, they are able to hear the enemies panicking and in disbelief. The commander thinks that because of the threat from the armored vehicle, the Yugoslav People's Army might send more weapons to level the playing field. The recon team returns back to check the area. This time, they do not spot the enemies. Miro thinks that this is a trap and asks his men to go back to the base and plan out their next course of action. Miro suggests to the commander that it's about time to get into the village. He also requests that they use the armored truck. It came in handy during the recon and can be very useful during the actual operation. The commander assures them that the reinforcements will be available if needed. Kruno takes pride in his armored vehicle taking 28 hits without any serious damage. A soldier reminds him not to celebrate too early as enemies might begin using grenade launchers and other high-powered weapons. As the team prepares to get back into action, Miro notices that many soldiers are willing to go with them. Miro lets them know that they can't fit inside the truck. The tank is too small for all the soldiers to fit in, but they can't be denied. Miro then lets everyone in. One of the soldiers named Andrew also joins in, but he does not have his rifle with him as it's with Franco, who is doing guard duty. Miro calls him out as his rifle is needed on the battlefield, but it's too late now to go and get it. Andrew also gets the go signal. The truck proceeds to the gateway of their target location and finds a spot to allow the soldiers to dismount and secure their positions. They are surprised to find out that there's not even one enemy in the area. This is very unusual and dangerous, but the task is not done yet. They then get back to the truck and head toward the village. As the tank enters the village, everyone is on full alert status. The Serbs could come out any moment and attack them. Kruno wants to know if he needs to stop as everyone seems to be uneasy about what's going on outside. Miro suggests keeping moving. Some soldiers are then beginning to detect that the Serbians are getting ready for them. Miro reminds Kruno to never slow down as they enter the enemy's territory. A grenade launcher welcomes the team as they enter the village. The explosion barely misses the vehicle. Crni orders Kruno to turn back, but the road is too narrow for the vehicle to turn around, leaving Kruno no other choice than to keep moving forward. A Serbian rebel aims and fires at them using a grenade launcher. This time, The vehicle is damaged. Being in the truck makes them vulnerable as their movements are limited. One by one, they run towards an abandoned house to clear it and also for cover while firing back at the enemies who are strategically positioned to attack them. This is an ambush, and company falls for it. As the house is declared clear, the remaining soldiers from the tank are ordered to run towards house number 55. Tomo is wounded. The truck is blown up when they are all inside the house. As the firefight continues, Miro reminds them to save ammo and fire only when necessary. They don't know if reinforcements will arrive anytime soon. They are now surrounded by the local Serbs, Serbian Special Forces, and the JNA, Yugoslav People's Army, but giving up is never an option. As long as everyone looks after everyone else and the possible entry points are secure, they can afford to be patient and wait until tonight. That way, reinforcements will be there as promised by the commander. Pero returns back from another recon task. He is informed by the commander that Company A has not returned yet from the patrol. The commander orders him to gather some men to bring them home. Pero is surprised to find out that the soldiers proceed with the plan as he warns them how dangerous it would be. He is tasked to rescue them, even if that means going to that village with his men and facing a potential ambush. Tomo asks for a helmet from one of the soldiers. He plans to use it as a decoy to locate the location of their sniper. The sniper takes the bait and gives out his position after firing. Dero, the lone Croatian sniper, then kills him. The enemies are getting aggressive by the minute. The team is doing a good job of manning the windows and of eliminating the enemies as they get closer and closer. However, they can feel that they are starting to get overwhelmed, especially after their location is targeted with a grenade launcher multiple times. Meanwhile, Pero and his team are finally in the area. They soon discover that they are not just dealing with the Serbians. Even the rebels are also joining the battle against them. Pero calls the commander to ask for reinforcement. The commander informs Marco over the radio about the need to send more men. Marco then informs Bozo that they need to gather 2 platoons and head to the village. Miro and his men need to abandon the house as they are starting to be like sitting ducks. The soldiers are immediately killed as soon as they step out of the house, while others are lucky to survive. The wounded are then rescued and taken back into the house. Marco and a few of his men arrive. Pero is surprised to see very few of them. He was expecting 2 platoons. Pero also asks if they can get more ammo and weapons, but he is told that it's impossible to get them right now. Miro instructs his men to wait until the enemies are real close before shooting at them. He wants to make sure that the bullets are well utilized. At one point, the house is heavily bombarded with a grenade launcher, but they remain relentless. They hold out their positions and stay calm and wait until the enemies are pretty close before killing them. The Croatian soldiers prevail even at night despite being outnumbered. They refuse to give up. Meanwhile, Tomo is attending to Kruno, who is badly hurt. Miro wants Tomo to finish dressing Kruno's wounds as soon as possible as he needs him to go back to his post. They can't afford to let their guards down, knowing that their enemies will be attacking any time again now. As everyone is back in their positions, the enemies begin to attack. Miro gives the go signal to shoot. Another firefight takes place as the Croatians display incredible courage despite the odds being against them. Pero and his men finally reach the house and help the Croatians. He wants Miro's men to come out while Miro insists that Pero and his team get in. Miro points out that he has wounded soldiers, and he will not be leaving his men. Dero asks him to take the able-bodied soldiers with him and leave the wounded ones. Waiting for another reinforcement will only get them all killed. Miro receives news from Pero that reinforcement will arrive tomorrow. Miro speaks to his men and lets them know that they are staying and nobody will be left behind. Pero gets to the other side and joins Miro's team. He warns Miro that there's an informant from their side for the enemies to know their moves. Bozo and his men join the team as well. He warns everyone that the special forces will go hard tomorrow. Marco begs the commander for reinforcement. He is told to hold out until tomorrow. When Marco expresses that they won't be able to survive, the commander orders him to pull back. Marco decides to pull back. Pero requests cover as he returns back to his position. Just when he is a few steps away from safety, he is killed. Miro finds out that Marco's team pulled back. It means that the enemies can now focus on them and use all their weapons against them. He tells his men to hold out their position until tomorrow. Since there's not enough manpower to man all the windows, he asks them to move from one window to another when needed. They have to let the enemies know that they are still a threat. A heavy firefight occurs once again. This time, their enemies are starting to gain ground, and Miro is hit during the battle. Tomo comes over to help, but Miro begs him not to save him. In the morning, Tomo and Kruni are badly hurt by a bomb explosion. Despite being wounded, Kruno steps out of the house to escape, but he is immediately killed. The movie ends with Tomo is dying and Kruni is crawling after surviving a blast. The enemies enter the house. They both pretend as if they are dead. Later on, all of the dead soldiers are brought outside. Despite being dead, all are stabbed again, and their faces are hit with the back of the gun, showing that Tomo and Kruni will still be executed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.